Okay, so this is where we left off, right? We entered in our sales for the day. Okay. All right, so now we have to go ahead and update our inventory. Okay, so here it says that to sell all those coffees, we used a total of 17 pounds of the regular coffee and 17, I think this is supposed to be 17 and a half pounds. 17 and a half pounds of the Supreme coffee. Okay. So if that's the case, let's go ahead and calculate. Okay. So we have to go to our inventory worksheet. Okay. Start with our regular coffee. All right. How many pounds of regular coffee did we sell? What was that?
17.
17, okay. Now, at what cost per item?
1.60940. I got 0
This is for 3. So remember, this one's going to always be recalculated.
And then the total cost is $27.36.
Good, excellent. $27.36. So let's go ahead and update our inventory. So in this case, right, if I had 183.5 and I sold 17 pounds, how much should I have left?
166.5.
166.5. Same thing for our total. If I have 295.33 and I sold $27.36, how much should I have left?
267.97.
267.97. And once again, since I have my formula in here automatically, what I'm doing is I'm automatically having it recalculate my average cost per item by taking my total cost divided by my new quantity, which I still get 1.60943. Okay. So because I don't need this information to display anymore, I can just go ahead and hide it. Okay. So there we are. We figured out how much we used. In this case, we used 17 pounds, which cost me a total of $27.36. Okay. Now on to my Supreme.
Wait. Can you go back to the other one real fast? Let me put that last little amount in. Okay. All right, good. Thank you.
All right, Supreme coffee.
You sold 17.5. And we're going to take away from the $1.80.
Right, because we still have enough here. We have 57.5 pounds left, and we definitely have enough to use 17.5. So in this case, my total, go ahead.
$31.50.
$31.50. Okay. So now we have to update our inventory.
Equals 57.5 minus 17.5 is us 40 at $1.80.
We have exactly 40 left in our inventory at $1.80, which gives me a total of $72. With the second batch, gives me a total of $300.50 left in our inventory. Good. So once again, we've calculated how much it's going to cost me to use 17.5 pounds, which came out to be $31.50. So here, Supreme is $31.50. Regular is $27.36. Okay, let me go back to that. Okay, making sure you guys are, wrong one. Making sure you guys are okay with the Supreme. Okay. So now we must journalize our cost of goods sold because that's exactly what we calculated. Okay. So how much was the cost of goods sold for the regular coffee?
$27.36.
$27.36. And how much was the Supreme coffee?
$31.50.
Okay. And we're going to take that out from our inventory so it reflects in our ledger the updated amount in each account.
Then you go to your general ledger and deposit the money.
Good, we got to deposit the money. So in this case, not the general journal, but we are going to be doing our deposits, right? Is that what you're asking?
Hold on, I lost mine. So you don't go to the general ledger. I found the deposits. Yes, general journal deposits.
Okay. How much money did we receive from those sales?
889.69.
Okay. So in this
And
case,
then you put the date, 620.
good.
And then you're gonna add the 889.69 and the 63.88
Good.
for a total 953.57. Did we go to our check-in already and deposit the 889.69? I don't remember.
That was in our general ledger? Yes, because we already completed our sales. Okay, hold on, let me go back to my sales. Yes, in our checking account, we did our sales, so we did deposit this money into the checking account itself already.
Are we done?
So we finished our journal. What always comes after the journal?
This general ledger.
We need to update these cost of goods sold accounts and the actual inventory itself. So here you go, cost of goods sold for regular coffee. right? We used 17 pounds of the regular coffee. Right, for a total of
2736.
27.36, which brings my running balance to be
134.28.
correct. 134.28. Then we have Supreme Coffee.
Use 10 pound for 31, 17 pound for 31.
Right, giving me a grand total of 153 even. Okay, we got to go update our inventory accounts. For a total of $27.36. So therefore, what is going to be my running balance in my regular coffee account?
267.97.
267.97, which should be the total amount in your inventory worksheet, which is 276.97. Okay.
You went to the Supreme Coffee.
Yes, we go down to Supreme Coffee, right?
use 17.5. General Journal 9, 31.50, and should give you $300.50.
Yes, because we know that because we calculate it in our inventory worksheet. Okay. We did update our inventory worksheet and we did deposit our cash sales into the bank. Okay, so next transaction. All right. So then what has happened here? It's the 21st, which is Friday, 21st of June. And what do we have here?
Our first payroll.
Okay, so he's an independent contractor. Technically, he doesn't belong on payroll, but we are still gonna consider him as an expense. Okay. So 8 hours a day at $10.50 an hour, one person, 3 days. Okay, so
Wouldn't it be considered a vendor?
yes, he is or higher temps is a vendor. Yes.
Let me look at my chart of accounts.
Good. Chart of accounts, right?
Are we going to debit labor expense?
Yes, more particularly, what kind of labor
Oh,
expense?
temporary labor expense.
Temporary labor expense, right? Because this is just a temporary worker that we hired through a temporary agency. So in this case, right, we are going to be debiting a temporary labor expense because they don't belong on my payroll. I just contracted with another third party vendor to help me find someone to work just for those 3 days. So then when I start my grand opening, as you guys all know, grand openings could be very stressful. So in this case, they completed the job. We said that we're going to pay them on the 21st. And we're going to pay them as a temporary labor expense. Good. Okay, what account number is that?
That is 60510. Oh, shoot. I'm sorry. I gave you the wrong one. 60520. And then we're going to credit checking.
Good. We're going to write a check because that's usually the best kind of tracking for business. How much am I going to write this check out for? If I'm paying for one person to work for 3 days for 8 hours, and I'm going to pay them $10.50 an hour, how much am I going to pay to hire temps?
252.
$252.
And then next we would go into our check register and assign a check number.
Mm-hmm. Check register is 621. Okay. The amount here is $252. Okay. And who are we writing this check out to?
Hire temps.
Okay, for $252, check number 1520.
So for the description, we can put in hire temps, check number 1520. Next, we need to post to our general ledger.
Yes, our general ledger. Okay. So we're going to go to operating expenses. Okay. There you go, temporary labor expense.
Is it better to use the actual hours and rate or the actual company and the check number?
You can use all of those information, whatever makes it easier for you to understand why you wrote this or what was the expense about. So yes, you could add everything that you just said. So you could do hire temps, right? One person for 3 days, 8 hours per day at $10.50 per hour. And then you said check number 1520.
General 9.
General Journal 9, good.
And debit for 252. And then we'll want to go to our checking.
Checking.
And we used check 1520. credit of $252. And then our balance is gonna be $1,058.53.
Correct. 2058.53.
Since our general ledger is done, then we need to go to the subsidiary ledger.
Because we need to make a note that we paid higher temps. Found him. What's the date?
6/21. I don't believe it gave an invoice number. General Journal 9. The invoiced amount is $252. And our payment's $252. So our accounts payable is 0.
I would also add here in the
Check
notes, the check number, just so then it's proof that you made a payment by using check number 1520. Yes, good, correct.
And I believe that's it.
Good. All right. What happened here? What happened here?
So we return damaged copycat
Yes.
to the vendor.
Yes. Okay. We found 4 cracked coffee mugs, and we are demanding a full refund.
I don't know which method we use. Either account payable and copy man, or checking copy man.
You got accounts payable correct, right? Because we never paid all things ceramics, right? We still owe all things ceramics lots of money.
So inventory we do that.
Inventory. Okay, so what did we purchase our ceramic coffee mugs as?
Where?
As. So in this case, right?
Yeah.
In this case, how do I keep track of my ceramic coffee mugs? What method did I use to keep track of my coffee mugs?
Is that the cost of goods sold apply?
No. So in this, okay, so let's answer that question first. Okay, so how am I keeping track of my coffee mugs?
Keeping track from the inventory section, right?
Yes, like what method am I using to keep track of my coffee mugs?
Periodic.
Periodic. So if you guys remember, right, if I have it as periodic inventory, how did I journalize it? How did I recognize it? Did I recognize it as inventory or as an expense?
I don't know that part. I mean, if it is perpetual, we can use the copy bank, right?
That's perpetual inventory. But when I received my coffee mugs, what did I recognize it as? When I journalized it, how did I where did I place it? What account did I place it in when I received my coffee mugs? Did I ever put it in my coffee mugs account? Yes, you do. We just said this like 2 minutes ago. When I received my coffee mugs.
I mean, I mean, I'm just going to journalize that account payable and inventory or a copy bank.
Okay, but let's go back to that one case that we just did, right? We just received our coffee mugs. Where did we put it when we received our coffee mugs?
Purchase expense.
It's a purchase expense, right? We made it as a purchase expense because it's periodic inventory. Now, in this case, how do I return a purchase expense? I'll give you a hint. It is a contra account. Right? Use your chart of accounts. What account would I be taking out from if I recognize my coffee mugs were periodic inventory, or in this case, a purchase expense?
I got a purchase returning allowance.
Purchase returns and allowances. Good. Okay, so in this case, purchase returns allowance, that is account number 61500. So yes, because it's right now, it's under a purchase expense. We can't undo purchase expense. In fact, you would have to, because it's an expense, right? It's already a cost of doing business. We already done it and it's done for, right? It's finite. It's done. So in this case, in order to reflect in our books that we're going to make a a refund on a purchase expense, you do need to create that contra account, which we call this as a purchase returns and allowances. All right, this is chapter 5. Okay, so this was account number 61500. Okay, now how do I know how much each coffee cup cost me?
Do we go to our inventory worksheet and use the last batch, the cost of the last batch?
That is correct, right? We're going to go to our inventory worksheet, okay? And we're going to use our last batch because obviously I can't go back to the 10th and return those items because that happened 11 days ago. And realistically, that would never happen. Usually when you open up your first the box that came in, your job is to make sure that every single item is in there, but also to make sure that every item is in good condition. Because if you decide to wait till the very last minute to open up that box of inventory just to realize that you have a whole bunch of mugs that are broken, it might be a little harder to kind of redeem that money back just because you waited so long. You know, it's already been a week and a half, almost 2 weeks, and you already now opening your first box. In this case, we probably already sold almost all of them. So, okay. But in this case, that we just received our inventory on the 20th. It makes sense that we opened it up and we realized, okay, well, we have to now, we've opened up all the boxes to check them, and we found that 4 of them were broken. So most likely, it's going to always be the most recent batch that you've purchased, okay? So in this case, how much can I return my 4 broken mugs for? Okay? If you notice here on your inventory worksheet, you do have a special location for you to do your returns and allowances and your discounts. Okay? So in this case, I'm making a refund. Okay? I have 4 broken mugs. Okay? At what cost? Okay?
280.
280? Okay. Why 280? Okay, so did you is it because you solved for this one right here? You solved that this one was no, it's not.
That's 250. I got 250 on my side.
Two
Okay.
250? We're not there yet.
I'll probably round it up.
Why would you round it up if it's I don't understand how you got those numbers.
250. I mean, I just divided 196 by 80. Oh, you got 196.80. Okay, I'm sorry. I got 196 on my side.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I see where you're at. In this case, even if you took 196 and you divided by 80, you shouldn't even get anywhere near 250. It should be $2.45. Okay, so in this case, it says 196.80 divided by 80 should give you a cost per item of $2.46. Okay. Good. Why is it that I'm using $2.46 opposed to $3.71?
You can't return the cost of freight.
You can't return the cost of freight or any shipping cost because, once again, can you go to the post office and say, hey, I want a refund on my shipping? They will laugh at you because you can't. It's just a standard cost that you cannot return. Right? So in this case, I can only refund it for the original selling price, which in this case, I purchased it at $2.46 each cup, right? For my second batch of inventory, which I purchased on June 20th, right? So in this case, I can only refund for the $2.46 each item. So in this case, how much is my grand total for my refund? $9.84. Okay? So right here already tells me this is the exact amount that I need to record in my books. Okay? Okay. So in this case, right, the cost that I'm going to be refunding, right, because I never made a payment to All Things Ceramics, so therefore I'm going to get a credit on my bill, all right, or I'm going to lower the amount that I owe, and I'm going to lower it by $9.84, okay? So therefore, I'm also refunding from my actual inventory because I don't have 80 items anymore. I have only 76 because 4 of those items are broken. They can't be used. You can't sell to your customers broken mugs, right? It's useless. You can't even glue it back together. It will not work, right? So why would a customer buy a broken coffee mug from you? Okay? So in this case, I don't have 80 items. I only have 76 because I'm refunding 4 of those coffee mugs. So there you go. And those 4 of those coffee mugs cost me $2.46 each. So therefore, I have a total of $9.84 I am returning from both my inventory as well as my accounts payable. Okay. So then, what should be my description?
Return for broken coffee mug.
Good. Return 4 broken coffee mugs to who?
All Things Ceramic.
All Things Ceramic. Okay. Okay. Do we have an invoice number? Do I have an invoice number for those 80 coffee mugs that I originally bought for $2.46 each?
$159.
$159. Now in this case, I'm receiving a credit for this one. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and say this is for invoice 159, but I'm receiving a credit on this one. Okay? And if you want to, you could say for a full refund.
one.
What else? Yeah, what's next?
But I would go to the ledger section and update the receipt.
Exactly. So we're going to go to our ledger accounts. Okay. We have an accounts payable.
Invoice number 159.
Invoice number 159C, because I got a credit on it.
So can I join at $9.84.
Good. We're going to debit $9.84. So what's my account balance now?
$1,879.61.
Good. 12,869.61. Good. So here we owe $984 less. Good. Next we're going to do is go to our operating expenses. So in this case, it's going to be right underneath purchase expense. Okay. Should be purchase returns and allowances. Okay. What should be my notes here?
All right, return for broken coffee man.
Return for broken coffee mugs.
Invoice number 159.
Invoice number 159. See?
See.
Okay.
Number 9. Journal 9.
Mm-hmm.
And credit 984.
Good. And of course, since it's our very first return, your credit balance should be $9.84.
Do we need to note that on the vendor side also or not?
Yes,
Sub-ledger.
absolutely. You have to know that because that way you know exactly how much you owe for this bill because you're expected that they're supposed to give you a discount or in this case they're supposed to refund you. All right. Now in this case they applied it to your invoice instead of give it to you as a credit. So in this case, right, that is definitely information I have to put in my books or in my subsidiary ledger because I returned, right? See the section for returns and allowances? I returned stuff. So in this case, right, it is June 21st. I want you to keep this separate because it is a separate entry, right? This is another transaction that happened, right? And this is where you could put all that information where you returned 4 broken coffee mugs, okay, at what, $2.46 each for a full refund. Right? And this one is invoice number 159C because we want to make sure that this credit is going to be applied to this invoice of 159. Okay? General Journal number 9. Okay? No terms or anything here because we did not. This is attached to the previous bill, which is 159. So in this case, a return doesn't give you any extra terms or any discounts here. Right? So now this time, instead of entering any other information here, we only have one section to enter it in, and that's under the returns and allowances column. So we are returning $9.84, which, if you drag that formula down, should give you a negative $9.84, which retallies up your total here of your grand amount that you owe. Okay? Now, here, if I do eventually want to make a payment to 159, I'm going to go ahead and put it on the side here, right? I didn't add an extra column here because maybe this is not applicable for this type of, general sales where I need an adjusted invoice amount. In this case, I can just go ahead and put it on the right side and say that I don't owe $296.80 anymore. I actually owe this minus the $9.84, which tells me that I now owe, for invoice number 159, a grand total of $286.96. Okay. That's how much I owe. So if I do cut them a check, I don't need to put them for the full amount because I got a refund, and this credit, it should be applied because I haven't paid it yet. Should be applied to the invoice that you are trying to get the money back from. The refund is to directly to the 159. Okay. Now, of course, on the vendor side, their job is they either reissue me a brand new invoice that is going to be 159C. That gives me the total amount that I do owe, which is the updated version. But in this case, I can't rely on my vendors to be able to do that job because, that's their job, not mine. My job is just I'm purchasing items from them. So this is me keeping track of my money and what I actually truly owe this vendor.
I have a question. Where did the 159C came from?
So in this case, right, C stands for credit. Okay? Usually when you do a return or a refund, right, you should try to have like a revised version of the invoice, or in this case, this ties in saying that this credit or this return or refund is directly correlated or related to this exact invoice to 159 because, right, that's how I know how much it cost me per item for me to do my refund for, right? Because it in the original invoice it was $246 per cup. that I purchased. So in this case, what I'm doing is I'm just making an association or a linkage between these two transactions because they come from the same invoice. All right? You don't have to use the letter C. You can use R for returns or whatever it is that you want. But in general terms, when we talk about QuickBooks, this is going to be a vendor credit, or it could be also used as a credit memo.
Okay, so that came from QuickBooks. It isn't something that you taught us, because I don't recall that.
In this case, it's just general information. That's why I'm telling you now, because
Okay.
that's just general. Like in QuickBooks, they tell you to do this, but you don't have to use a letter C. You can use R for refund, or R for revision, or M for mugs. It doesn't matter what kind of letter that you use, as long as
Whatever
you know what that
is for
means.
refund. Okay,
Yeah.
got it. That's, oh, yeah.
Uh-huh. This is just so that I know that this transaction is directly related to the previous one.
And it's also a clue or a flag for you to make sure that you do get that refund from the vendor.
Absolutely correct.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Good. All right, so there we have it. We did our journal. We did our ledger. We updated our subsidiary ledger. We've also updated our inventory worksheet. Okay, so that means this transaction is completely done. Okay, so what I'm gonna have you guys do, since it is 11:33 now, I'm gonna stop here. So then we are gonna continue with this transaction tomorrow. Okay, so make sure you save all your Excel files or save all your work wherever that you have it. All right, and yep, if you don't have any extra questions, you guys are free to go.
Thank you.